In 2025, the Trident has been updated, and it really needed to be because the competition is really heating up in this segment. And here's the thing, it also comes in a full power version and a learner approved version in Australia. And what I want to find out in this video is the full power version relevant for more experienced riders? And is the learner approved version still at the top of the field in its category? G'day everyone, it's Courtesy and welcome to an On The Back Wheel video. By watching my channel, you're supporting an independent motorcycle reviewer who tells it like it is. So please click that subscribe button. All right, let's check out the new Triumph Trident. I have here the new 2025 Triumph Trident, and there's been a fair few updates. It's got an IMU with cornering ABS. It's now got 3 rider modes, rain, road, and sport. In addition to that, it's got an up and down quick shift to stock and cruise control. And also, they've got different colors. Now we've got this yellowy, musty mango color, red, blue, and black. Now in Australia, probably the biggest thing is we now have the full power model along with the restricted model. Interestingly, they're both the same price. So if you're getting a restricted model, it has all the exact same features as a full power model and vice versa, and you're paying the same price. In terms of build quality, man, Triumph are knocking it out of the park lately. Absolutely everything on the bike is well put together. There's no wires or hoses anywhere. Everything is neatly tucked away. The paintwork looks fantastic. I definitely like the new colors a lot more than the last model. I didn't like that giant T as much. I much prefer what they've done here with the stripe. Price-wise, you're looking at 14.2-ish right away for the black model and 14.5 for the colored model. So the pricing is pretty sharp compared to the competitors. Overall, I think they've done a great job with the design of the bike. I like the look of the last model, and I think these colors are much improved. And I like the additions that they've added. And it's great that the price hasn't really increased as well. The build quality, top notch as usual from Triumph. The engine is an absolute perler, guys. We've got the full power model now that puts out roughly 81 horsepower. Look, I think it's about the perfect amount of horsepower from the street. And interestingly, the Lambs model, on this launch here, we've got 5 riders. 2 of them barely notice a difference between the Lambs model and the full power model. So if you are going for that restricted model, it's got plenty of guts, guys. And this triple motor, it's so smooth and torquey and easy to ride. And this new unrestricted motor, it's got plenty of zing to it. It gets up and goes. If you want to do wheelies, it will do them. Both models will, in fact. Definitely the full power model does them a bit easier, I would say. Second and third gear you can do them in. Corners can come up pretty quick on this if you really ring it out, but it's easy to ride. And probably the biggest addition, I think, is the IMU. On the last model, the traction control, I found it to be quite intrusive at times. This IMU, it works as well with traction control. So the traction control is now lean sensitive as well. So when you're on a straight line, you can nail it. Traction control will not intervene at all. I mean, it only has 81 horsepower, so it doesn't have to struggle too much. But today, I deliberately left it on through the twisties in the sport map, that new map, which also changes your traction control. Each map changes your traction control, and then you can turn the traction control off as well. We'll get to that later. Yeah, I can feel the traction control then. Just. Yeah, there it is. In the twisties leant over, you can feed on the throttle and you can feel it working ever so slightly. And then when there's a bit of leaf litter or something like that, it will kick in a bit. So it is fantastic, that addition of the IMU and probably IMU. And I think it's probably the biggest update on the motorcycle. The fueling in all maps is absolutely fantastic. Yesterday we were riding in mixed weather conditions and I tried the rain mode, it really does soften it. For me, I think it's a bit of a waste of time on an 81 horsepower motorcycle. I don't think you need the rain map. The road map is fantastic. You can use it in all conditions. My preference is the sports map in the twisties and then go back to the road map when you're just doing mixed riding and on the highway and everything. That new sport map is a great addition. It makes it that little bit snappier and instant in the throttle response. However, it doesn't affect the on-off throttle response and the fueling is still perfect. So they've done a great job with the motor and it's unique in this category of bikes. I think this is the only triple you can get. I think the motor is fantastic. We've now got an up and down quick shifter. The quick shifter works fantastic. In the lower revs, yeah, it is a bit meh still. All quick shifters like that. Everywhere else, it is great, especially when you're pinning it. It's that Triumph shift assist. If you haven't used it before, it's a little bit kind of squishy to begin with, but then you get used to it really quickly. It has a down blipper as well that works absolutely fantastic. We're riding through the hills today. I didn't even use the clutch for about half an hour. Just up and down gears, it works absolutely fantastic. If you are using the clutch, it's fine. No issues at all. It modulates well. The lever, at first, it's a little bit square edged on the back. You get used to it. I probably like a slightly thicker lever. It's a little bit thin and square edged, so I'd probably change that, especially on the underside. But the clutch and the action itself and the gearbox is great. They've done a fantastic job with the motor. This is a very nice handling bike, guys. It's flickable, it's stable, it's kind of busy feeling and kind of small and compact, which does take a little bit to get used to. Me, I'm 6 foot tall. I'm probably on the upper range for this bike and how it's designed. But it's a great handling bike. Through these twisties today, I was having an absolute blast. You can hold the line, you can change direction. There was plenty of leaf litter and crap on the roads and sticks. You can dodge and weave through them with no issues at all. Then on the highway, we had to come back through other sections and sweeping corners. It's fine. When you get to higher speeds, it's not designed for that. I find it's your lower speeds and then up to, it will go faster, but you're getting a fair bit of wind blasts and it's not that style of bike. I mean, it's a naked kind of roadster. Suspension. Unfortunately, they didn't update the rear shock. I thought they were going to on this model. I didn't like the rear shock on the last model, and it's probably one of my only major complaints. I still don't love it. However, by changing the preload in the last couple of days, I think I hit a pretty good medium for the price. Yes, I would love some more adjustability in it. It's a bit of a compromise, guys. It's set up firm and for sporty riding. So on those sharp hits, it really kicks you in the arse a bit. On smooth, twisty roads like today, it's perfect. It's a little bit stiffer and firm, and it works well. We started with 5 turns into the preload at the back, and I was like, wow, that made a massive difference. It was just sitting too low on the stroke, I think, and then it just felt stiff, too low on the stroke, compressing, it was too stiff. Adding that into it, I'm 90 kilos. I think it was about right. Today, I added another turn into it and I liked it even more. Much more than that, I think it's probably not going to work too well. I will say this, it suits a large range of riders. On the launch, I'm 90 kilos. We have a female rider who's obviously a lot lighter than me and other people of different sizes and weights. They've been able to adjust it. And then it's got 12 turns in the preload. So if you do have luggage or a pillion on it, I think it's just going to be fine. So it is a compromise. The front forks, I really like. Those big piston forks, they're very nice forks. For the price, I think they've done a really good job. In terms of riding position, as I mentioned, I'm 90 kilos and 6 foot. I wouldn't want to be any bigger. For me, I feel like I want to be able to get a little bit further back, just a little bit further back. You can see here, this seat, try not to tip over everyone. This seat, I feel like it needs to go a bit back. It cramps me a little bit, so I can't get back when I'm want to crouch down, you can see I need to be back there, and then I feel cramped. Also, the bars are just a little bit narrow for me. Maybe just a tiny bit wider. I would like that. Other people have found them to be fine, but my personal preference is I'd like them a tiny bit wider. The bike feels a bit narrow. The front brakes are absolutely fantastic. There's plenty of power, and I like the way they modulate. Plus, you've got an adjustable lever here. I didn't get a chance to test out the cornering ABS. We weren't pushing that hard, but it is great to have it. The rear brakes, they're Triumph branded. Yeah, they're fine. I like them. The ABS does kick in a little bit. Then you put it in sport mode, and it's pretty good. I didn't find it to be an issue at all. Front brakes, fantastic. I like them overall. Likes and dislikes. As you've gathered, I really like the motor on the motorcycle. The addition of that IMU is absolutely fantastic. I didn't realize how big a difference that would make for me. The up and down quick shifter, I really wish the last model did, so it's great that they've added in, and there's no extra cost, which is absolutely fantastic. As I mentioned, don't really like the shock. I think the seating position could be a little bit further back. Something I don't like is you have to turn off the traction control to turn off wheelie control, and it's a little bit fiddly to get to. One of the guys said it's 9 clicks to get to. And then sometimes at the end you forget to hit the OK. So you turn it off, then you have to hit the OK button again. Otherwise it turns back on. So it's a little bit fiddly. Then we have the cruise control. I haven't mentioned it. It's a very simple cruise control. It's only on or off, but I like that. I actually prefer that. And then you can turn it off by rolling the throttle forward, pulling the clutch in, accelerating too much, or braking. It's great to have on the long stretches. You can rest your hand, even just to, get a bit of air through it, get rid of cramp. I love the addition of the cruise control.
Cruise control on. See that green light here? Means it's on, then to turn it off. You can do that to the throttle and just disengage it or use the brake.
Other dislikes, the dash is maybe a bit small. Other than that, I'm really nitpicking, guys. This is a very good bike for the price. So how does the bike stack up to the competition? There is a lot more now than when this bike launched. We've got the CF Moto 800 NK. We've now got the Suzuki 8S. Now they're both a bit cheaper than this bike and have similar features. However, with the Triumph, it's unique in that it has this triple engine. Nothing else has that motor, and it is a fantastic motor, and the styling is very different. Then we've got the MT-07. That's probably still the biggest selling bike on the market. I would say this is a better motorcycle than that, guys. It's got better suspension overall. I never liked the MT-07 suspension, and the engine is just more flexible. It rips, it's torquey, you can cruise on it, and the overall package of this bike and the way it handles, I think it's a better bike. Yes, I'd love the ability to be able to turn off wheelie control and traction control separately and easier without as many clicks. But we actually had the pleasure to speak with Triumph last night, and they said, we looked into doing that and we can do that, but the market doesn't want it. The people buying this bike don't want that. And who is this bike really aimed towards? For me, I look at it, and this is a good everyday bike that you can scratch on the weekends with. You ride to and from work, still got a bit of punch, it's smooth, it's got long service intervals, to 10,000 miles or 16,000 kilometers. That is crazy long. Look, I'd probably do it halfway, but they say you can do it with that and it keeps it in warranty. That is insane. If you're more experienced, it's still got that power there and you can have a lot of fun with it. I think it's about the right amount of power for the street, that 80 horsepower or so. And then the Lambs model, you're not going to be disappointed with the Lambs model, guys. It's probably the fastest Lambs bike or learner bike on the market at the moment. And interestingly, speaking to Triumph last night, the demographic for this is not quite who you'd think. It is people who are over 30, a lot of experienced riders are buying this motorcycle. And that was the learner approved motorcycle. And looking at going back with something a bit smaller, that isn't a fire-breathing monster, they don't have to worry about, they know it's reliable. And it's also very big in the female riding community. As I mentioned before, it's a little bit cramped for me, but if you're a smaller rider or smaller stature, it's about spot on. The only concern I'd have is the competition. Some of it is a little bit cheaper, like that Suzuki 8S. That 800 motor is fantastic and has very similar features to this, except cruise control. If you want a twin, I'd probably lean that way, but this is unique in that it's a triple. No one else is doing it. It's probably up there as being the best in class, and I can highly recommend this motorcycle, guys. All right, guys, that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't, please click that subscribe button and check out my other content, and keep it on the back wheel. Catch us.
The bike handle's great too. It's a smooth road, don't get me wrong. Yeah, beautiful. Brakes are fantastic. Tyres are good. Got the suspension dialed. Well, preload in the rear. Yes, boy.